it's Justine again. I'm back and I need to talk about something that has been plaguing my dreams. I have been unable to sleep for 4 years. I have not slept a wink for 4 years because of this. No, I'm kidding. It was just like last night. I stayed up for a while just thinking about it and like whispering to myself in kind of like a creepy way. Since I first read The Dark Artifices by Cassandra Clare in like 7th grade. I'm like already getting really heated, which I feel, it's so weird. Okay, so I have my little notebook. There's my notes here, so it's a little more organized. Okay, so if you haven't read The Dark Artifices, maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't, whatever you want, but it's, okay, this is kind of complicated. But basically, it centers around the Blackthorn family, who was first introduced in the Mortal Instruments in the City of Heavenly Fire. So in the City of Heavenly Fire, they're like way younger than Dark Artifices. So all the members of family, there are 7 children, and I'm just gonna, maybe I should get a whiteboard or something. This is very, I'm gonna maybe, oh shoot. Okay, I'm gonna put it down when I edit maybe, but we have the oldest, who is Helen, and then from oldest to youngest, Helen, Mark, Julian, Ty and Livy, who are twins, Drew, and Tabby. Okay, so during the Dark War, because Mark and Helen, the 2 oldest siblings, are half fairy for reasons that are complicated, Mark is kidnapped by the fairies, and Helen is exiled to an island because she's half fairy. So now, all that is left of the Blackthorns is Julian, Ty and Livy, Drew and Tabby, and Emma, if you include her, and you do, because she lives with them. So when this happens, Julian and Emma, I think they're like 13, maybe they're 12 even, but I think they're 13. And we're gonna be generous and say that they're 13. And everybody else is like a bit younger. Ty and Livy are 10. And Tabby's like a baby. Drew's like, I don't know, at like elementary school age. Now, they're like all alone in the Blackthorn Los Angeles Institute, and they send in like a new parental figure who's like their Uncle Arthur, but because of the war, he has like PTSD and he has issues, and he's basically not able to be like a new guardian for them, because plot convenience. Now they're on their own, like this group of children are on their own. So before I explain what Julian, who's basically like the leader of the family, does, I want you to like, you, the audience, you who is watching this right now, I want you to think of what you would do if you were like a 13-year-old and you had like a bunch of siblings who, by the way, 2 of them are not that much younger than you. They're like 3 years younger than you, okay? Like, I feel like that's not a huge age difference, but whatever. So, what would you do? You can pause the video to think. I know you won't, but okay, so here's what I would do. I have a sibling, by the way. I have a singular sibling. That means I'm perfectly equipped to put myself in this situation. What I would do, after everybody's done like crying about this horrible tragedy, I'd get everybody together and be like, okay, because now I need to run the institute because our uncle is like incapable of doing that. I'm gonna run the institute, and Ty and Livy, because there are 2 of you and you are 10, you can clean the kitchen, you can clean the institute, okay, just mop around, I don't know, dust things off, make sure we're not living like in an actual like, I don't know, dumpster, like, and Drew, you can watch Tabby all day. And I know that like, you can't really expect like an 8-year-old to watch like a baby all the time, but she could just like make sure he doesn't like walk off a cliff or something. Just like sit with him in his room for a while, and then when it's time to like feed him, maybe Emma or Julian can go up and do that. Like, Whatever, it's not that hard. And also Emma, because I have Emma, I'll be like, hey Emma, you can go get the food. You can make the food. You can like, I don't know, you can assist me in this very difficult task that we as a family have taken on. Now let me explain what Julian does. Maybe title card, what Julian does. Instead of doing what I would do, which I think is very well thought out and like fairly effective, he does this really cool thing where he just like doesn't do that, and he's doesn't even like send anyone down to have a meeting. He's like, okay, now that this horrible thing has happened, I need to basically become the parent to my siblings. Like, which I think is very strange, but like whatever, you know, maybe that's just his personality. He's like very overprotective and stuff. So it's like, okay, go off. There is this very casual line in the first book of the Dark Artifices that Emma just like says to Christina. And she says, Ty and Livy can't even make eggs. And that might be not like, that's like a very, haha, they can't make eggs, you know, some people just can't make food, and you know, that's fine. But Ty and Livy, at the time of the Dark Artifices, are 15. Like, for reference, I know I'm not like the perfect example of a human person ever, but when I was 15, which was literally like a couple months ago, yeah, I could make eggs. And I could make eggs when I was like 12. And I feel like the ability to make scrambled eggs in middle school is not an like incredibly impressive feat. Like, it's pretty normal for people to know how to make scrambled eggs in middle school. Like, but Ty and Livy, given their circumstances, their parents are dead and they're basically living with only like all their siblings who are like children. They can't make eggs? Never in their life has Julian come up to them and said, hey, can you make us something to eat because we don't have parents anymore? It's just very strange to me that essentially Julian has babied them to the extent that they don't even need to know how like to cook. These people are running around like throwing knives at things, sword fighting, and they can't like crack an egg into a pan and thwack it a bit. Like, it's just very strange that they've apparently never been asked to do this, like, in their very dire circumstances. I'm just very confused. Is this lighting okay? Because I've been going on for a while. So, point two, Pancake Sunday. This was like when I really started noticing. I don't know what book this was, but Julian and Emma are like, in the morning, they're sitting outside, they're talking about deep stuff, maybe their love for each other, and Tavi comes out, like, with a heckin' lollipop or whatever, and he says, hey, Julian, what about our pancakes? And I was like, what? And Julian goes in, he's like, oh my god, I'm sorry, it's Pancake Sunday. It might have been Saturday, whatever, it doesn't matter. And his entire family, who, like, three of them are like teenagers at this point. They're sitting at the table, I imagine, they're like holding their utensils like this, like, banging it on the table, demanding pancakes, like, why? And then Julian, he's very clearly fatigued, he's tired, he just wants to make out with Emma or whatever, and he's like, oh, sorry, I forgot, and nobody says, hey Julian, it's okay, we're teenagers, we don't need pancakes anymore, or, hey Julian, you look really tired, let me do it for you. They're like, pancakes, they don't say that, but that's what I imagine that they're doing, okay? It's just very strange, and sorry, I've been saying strange a lot, but that's the only word I can find to describe this situation. So Julian goes there, he's got like 1 hour of sleep, he's like making pancakes for his family, and the implications of this is that Julian has established as a 13-year-old raising his siblings that every Sunday he will make pancakes for them. Huh? Not only has he not asked his siblings to contribute in any way, he has, like, spoiled them rotten. I have both parents alive. They're very much alive. I know we're not struggling in any way. And I don't even get pancake Sundays. Like, where's my goddamn pancake Sunday? Like, maybe it's a white person thing? I don't think so, though. Like, maybe. But why would you, I get that, it's very important to have a good bond with your siblings if you're in this type of situation. But why would you go to this extent of tiring yourself out even more to serve your siblings something so inconsequential as, like, pancakes on Sunday? And it's like a promise, because Tabby was up. He was up. He was ready to, I don't know, force Julian to make him some pancakes. It's very weird. Like, why would he? Okay, third point. Oh, and by the way, Emma does not help him in this endeavor. Okay, third point. Let me get my bullet journal. This, I think, is my strongest point here. I keep throwing my journal and having to pick it back up, but in the first book, Mark, who was kidnapped by fairies, right? He's like the oldest sibling. He was not the oldest sibling. He was older than Julian, and he was kidnapped by fairies. And now he's back. For complicated reasons. He's back now. And because he's been living in the fairy world for like 5 years, and it works different, time works different in fairy world too, because he thinks he's been there for like a lot longer. He has no idea how the human world works anymore. He talks weird. He doesn't know what's going on. He like barely remembers his siblings. And he's just sitting there. He's like, I don't know, he acts kind of childish because he doesn't know what he's doing. He hasn't really aged any, so he still looks like he's 16 or whatever. And Julian and Emma need to go out to do a mission, like shadow hunter things. They're like, we're going out to interrogate this person. Mark, you're in charge. Why is Mark in charge? Mark has shown that he has no idea what's going on. And you have two apparently very capable 15-year-olds, like, right there, and you don't even trust them to take care of their siblings for, like, a couple hours when you guys, like, drive a couple miles? It's just, like, I could stay home alone when I was 15. I don't know about you. Like, I mean, and you put Mark in charge? Mark's, like, he looks 16 too. He doesn't look like an adult. Like, why are you putting him in charge? He doesn't know what he's doing. Like, it's very, very weird. And then when they come back, shockingly, everything is in ruins. The kitchen is like about to be burnt down. There are like scorch marks on the wall. There's everything everywhere. Mark's just trying to make people food. He's struggling because he just got back from Fairy World. I know I keep blaming Ty and Livy, but it's not even just their fault. It's Drew too. She's 13. I have a 13-year-old sister. Yeah, she wouldn't let someone trash her kitchen, even if it was her brother. Like, it's just, so he's sitting there, like doing his best, because he doesn't know what he's doing. And Ty and Livy are sitting at the booth, probably holding the utensils like this again, and they're waiting for, like, their meal. The kitchen's about to be burned down. What are you doing? Like, it's your kitchen. You live here. Why are you just sitting here and letting this happen? Like, it's very, very weird. And this is basically, for the entire first book, I thought they were completely different ages. And this is where I got, like, the sense of their ages. Because Livy and Ty weren't doing anything. They were just sitting there. I thought they were I was like, oh, so they're 12. Okay, I get it. They're like 12. Because they're just sitting there doing nothing. And Drew, they explain what everybody's doing. Drew has made a concoction of Coke and Sprite and ketchup and mayonnaise and a bunch of other gross stuff, and it's like brown, it's like bubbling because it's disgusting, and she drinks it. And then she throws up into the sink because it's disgusting. And I was like, oh, so Drew's like 9 years old, because I mean, I wouldn't have done that when I was 9 years old, but I don't know. Like, that's the only logical explanation. No way would a 13-year-old do that? Like, maybe they'd mix it up because it looks cool, but they wouldn't drink it. Like, it probably smells awful. Like, what? Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. And Tavi is in a bag of flour. He's sitting in a bag of flour. And I imagine like a bag of flour that you get from like Kroger or something. It's like this. I was like, Tavi is a newborn baby. Like I thought it was like, oh, he has like a pacifier and he sleeps in a crib. Like, that's how old he is, because he can fit in a bag of flour and he's just sitting in there and it's not uncomfortable to him at all. Like, so with all this happening, Julian comes home and he's like, he gets so mad at Mark. Why? Mark is the victim here. Mark has been put in charge of all his siblings that he hasn't seen for 5 years, and it's like his first week back in the human world. He doesn't even know what a stove is. Like, he has been put in charge, and Julian comes back and he's like, Mark, I can't believe you've done this. Why are you mad at Mark? Mark doesn't even live here. Like, he does live here, but he's basically a child. Like, and you don't get mad at any of the rest of your siblings who have not been kidnapped by fairies for 5 years. Like, they've been living here their whole lives, and you don't get mad at them at all for letting this happen to their home. And then Julian, he's like, I'll take care of it. And he gets down on his hands and knees. Oh my God, poor Julian. And he cleans the kitchen, and Emma's like, oh, this kitchen meant so much to Julian because this is where he like cooked all his food and he took care of his siblings. And she's just standing there feeling bad for Julian. First of all, Emma, why aren't you doing anything? Julian, why are you doing it yourself when you weren't even home when this happened? Like, he's doing more than a parent. He's like their butler or something. Like, I know that if my parents came home one day and I had just trashed the kitchen and there's scorch marks all over the ceiling or whatever, like, yeah, they wouldn't be cleaning it themselves. They'd probably take my phone and take away my privilege to leave the house for like a good 2 years. And then they'd be like, okay, now clean the kitchen. And you can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't even use the bathroom until you're done. Like, that's what, like, I get that my parents might not be like the like average parent, I guess. But I feel like that'd be a reasonable response for anybody who came home and saw their teenage child had trashed the kitchen. Like, and it's just very weird that Julian not only blames Mark, but doesn't make his siblings help out in cleaning up the mess that they were kind of responsible for. Like, and then they just run off and do whatever. Like, they're so spoiled. Why are they like this? Okay, fourth point. Oh my God, I keep having to flip to the page because I keep throwing the thing. Okay. Emma is completely useless. Julian, and, okay, I throw it again, whatever. I never learn from my mistakes. Emma is Julian's age. Emma is like exactly Julian's age. And Emma is living with them. Emma is living with them in the institute. She's just living there, and she's very aware of the stress that Julian is under, because she's always like, oh, poor Julian, he's so selfless, he's always doing all these things for his siblings, he doesn't get enough sleep, but he's so selfless and sexy. But like, why aren't you doing anything? You live with him, you're practically his family. And we do see her do like a little bit of stuff, like she cooks a little, she like tucked Tavi into bed, which, by the way, why does Tavi need to be tucked into bed? It's because they say it's because he kind of has like nightmares or whatever, but Tavi was like not even 1 year old when like all the stuff of the Dark War happened. I can't remember a single thing of like when I was 1. So why is he the one who's having nightmares? Like, shouldn't everybody but Tavi be having nightmares? I know that I like to be like tucked in when I was like 5, but also I had both parents alive. So I feel like that's a kind of a difference here. Like, you'd think that once Tavi turned 4, Julian would be like, okay, you gotta learn how to go up the stairs yourself and like get on your bed and go to sleep. Like, You'd think that's what he would say, but apparently not, because he needs to be tucked in every night. And, we love forming a sibling bond, but also your circumstances, like, it's okay if you don't tuck the 5-year-old into bed. It's very weird. Why is Tabby having nightmares? Okay. So we see Emma do, like, that one thing, and she also cooks sometimes. But Emma does not help Julian clean the kitchen that one time. Emma does not really help Julian do the paperwork for the institute, or whatever the heck he needs to do to run the institute. She never, like, goes on a grocery run. She never cleans the house. She just kind of sits there and feels bad for Julian while simultaneously being, like, having, like, a very high opinion of him, because she's like, oh, he's so selfless. Why aren't you doing anything if you love him so much? It's very weird. Like, and Julian never asks her to do anything. I know that it's supposed to be, like, selfless, but this is just really stupid. Like, she's your age, and apparently you guys are, like, best friends, and also maybe a little bit more, which is also kind of weird, considering that they're basically family. It's very strange. So I get that you could make the argument that, oh, I wrote this down. I can't remember a good argument for this, but, oh, that's just how Julian is because he's overprotective, and, that's, like, his flaw. He's overprotective, and I get that it is kind of his flaw. But if this were the case, I feel like, I wrote down my rebuttal, too, because I can't remember this. I feel like you could say that, like, he raised his siblings very poorly. And that shouldn't have been how he did it. But it's never addressed that he could have done this better. Cassandra Clare never once says in the text or anything where Emma has a conversation with Julian where she's like, hey, I get that you're trying your best, but I feel like you should let your siblings act their age. You're not their dad, and it's very weird that you're acting like it. But it's never addressed. I just spit in my book. It's never addressed that this is not the best way to be raising siblings. You shouldn't raise siblings. And I feel like this sibling relationship is kind of, like, idolized too, like, romanticized even. Because, oh, the Blackthorns have such a strong bond with each other. But that's not right. They don't treat each other like siblings. I guess Ty, Livy, Drew, and Tabby are kind of siblings, but Julian's like their dad. Julian's, like, literally like their dad. It's not right. It's not good. It's kind of weird. I feel like that'd be the equivalent to, like, if something awful like this happened to me and my sister, who's, like, 2 years younger than me. That'd be like if I automatically went, like, I'll just be your mom now. And that's the only reasonable solution to this I could think of. I'll just be your mom. You just sit down, maybe, I'll spoil you rotten love. I'll make you pancakes every Sunday. It's very weird. And I feel like if Cassandra Clare had realized that this isn't a healthy relationship, she would have said so. Because now everybody who reads it, they're like, oh, wow, the Blackthorns have such a strong bond. They're such good siblings. They're not, though. They're not. Julian's being really weird about this, and everybody else is, not learning to be independent because they just run around all day completely oblivious to the fact that their brother is now their dad. Okay, it's very weird. In conclusion, why do I keep doing that? And I'm probably going to have to pick it up later. In conclusion, I feel like the reason Cassandra Clare did this, why would Cassandra Clare do this? Here's the reason. I think Cassandra Clare has kind of messed up relationships, and what she wanted was for Emma and Julian at the ripe age of 18 act kind of like parents. I think she wanted them to kind of be like they had children, because Ty and Livy and stuff, they're all like their children because they can't take care of themselves, they can't fry an egg, I think that she kind of wanted Julian and Emma to be like parents. And I feel like it's kind of messed up and not right. And now I feel like I'm missing something huge because I've never seen anybody talk about this before. Anywhere? Why isn't anyone talking about this? Has nobody like, it's very, and there's even like this scene where Julian's walking up the stairs, where this is when Julian's like 13 or whatever. He's walking up the stairs with like newborn he's not like newborn, he's probably like 2 at this point, but he's carrying him because he likes to baby his siblings so that they act younger and he and Emma can be like parents. But he's like carrying Tabby up the stairs and he like trips a little bit and he thinks, my baby. And it's supposed to be like a very sweet moment, like, oh, now he's taking responsibility. But that's so weird to think about your brother as your baby. Like, you didn't birth him, you're 12. Like, it's, sorry, no, he's 13. But like, it's very strange. You shouldn't think about your brother that way. Like, that's not healthy, that's not right, that's not good, stop. Like, why did I start singing? Don't do that. But I think Cassandra Clare was trying to like have Emma and Julian be parents because she thinks that's hot and sexy and great for their relationship, but it's not. It's just uncomfortable and kind of not great to read because now it's like, it's just so weird. And also I don't know, I kept trying to find out if Cassandra Clare had any siblings. But like, if she does, what kind of relationship does she have with them? That's so weird. Like, I like almost positive that there's no way she has siblings, okay? Because if she thought about the scenario in her head, she'd be like, hey, that is kind of weird how I made Julian their dad. Like, no way she has siblings. No way. It's not possible. And I even wrote this kind of in a YouTube comment about this girl ranting about the Shadowhunter series, and I was like, does anybody else find it kind of weird how Julian kind of like acts like the dad to his siblings? And somebody was like, that's because his siblings are so young. They're not that young. Like, I know people who are like 3 years apart. They don't treat their siblings like they're children. Like, it's like, they're 3 years isn't that huge of a gap. Like, I get that 10-year-olds shouldn't be expected to have that much responsibility, but neither should like 13-year-olds. They should do it as a team, and I feel like that'd make a more powerful family dynamic if they all took on a bit of the responsibility of living like this, instead of Julian being the dad because it makes him sexy or whatever to Emma, and now they can be parents. Like, it's just not right. It's not good. It makes me uncomfortable. I was thinking about this like all night because I was like, why did she write it like that? What was the reason? And then I thought about the reason. I was like, oh shit, that's so weird. Yeah, that's the tea. That's what I've been thinking about for the past 4 years. Yeah, I know, read the Dark Artifices if you want, please. If you have, tell me if I'm missing something huge, because I have to be, right? Like, no way that this is how it went down, but like, what am I missing? Why does he treat his siblings like this? Like, does he, like, I get that Ty's kinda, I just keep going on and on, I should end the video, but I get that Ty's like kinda autistic, but he's never shown to be autistic in the way where he acts like more immature. If anything, he's more mature. He needs a bit of help, but he has a twin, and she's like always with him. I think he's fine. I think he could handle vacuuming the floor a little bit. Like, just very weird. Okay, I should end the video. I'm done ranting, I guess. Yeah, probably didn't really have a good time listening to me screaming about this thing that you probably don't care about, but I did. I'm glad it's finally out and I can stop thinking about it, even though I probably won't. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, maybe, if you want to. It's your choice. Okay, please tell me if I'm wrong so I can take this video down.